Welcome to another episode of Scott Reads Comics. Today we'll be covering Captain America 315, published back in the early 80s. So this issue features the Serpent Society, some ongoing foes of Cap since issue 310 when they first debuted as a team of supervillain contractors, all with a serpent theme. And the dramatic cover, the Serpent Society's finally got Captain America where we want him, Cottonmouth says. That's what they think, Cap thinks. And our cover is by Paul Neary and Dennis Janke, who are our interior artists. So we have a pretty compelling splash page here. It was in Captain America 313 where the Serpent Society had accepted a contract to hunt down MODOK for AIM. MODOK, one of my favorite Marvel supervillains, used to run AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, and he has since been in internecine conflict with AIM, establishing his own offshoot branch, and so they wanted to get rid of him, and they hired the Serpent Society to do it, and in issue 313 of Cap, they did. They actually killed MODOK, and I'll cover that issue at some point because it's a pretty great one. With this splash page here, we see MODOK in the morgue, and we see a couple of coroners here about to undertake the grisly task of possibly doing an autopsy on the strange transformed body of a now deceased MODOK. The Hard Sell is the title. Mark Grunwald is our writer. Paul Neary does the breakdowns. Dennis Janke provides the finishes. Mike Harlan's the editor. Jim Shooter's editor-in-chief. Diana Albers is the letterer. And Ken Vidikowicz is the colorist. So before the grisly autopsy can begin, the Serpent Society bursts in. Not only have they been paid to slay MODOK, but they also must bring his body back to AIM because he is property of AIM and they want to reclaim him in every way. So this attack team of Serpent Society members bursts in, led by Anaconda, one of my favorite supervillains of the 80s, just a great character. Blanche Shinsky, she was a steel worker out of Pittsburgh, my hometown, so I do have a fondness in my heart for her. Kind of a blue-collar supervillain type. Superhumanly strong. She's got some stretching capabilities, and of course her ability to constrict and squeeze people to death with her incredibly powerful limbs. They burst through here. She's accompanied by the Asp, Cobra, and Black Mamba. So the security guard and these folks have no chance. They quickly overwhelm the individuals in the room, and no one is really all that wild about carrying MODOK's weirdly deformed and dead body out of the building, but Anaconda steps up and step aside, Runtz. I'll handle this as usual. You go on ahead. Make sure that the coast is clear. If not, if that ain't too much to handle. She's a take charge kind of gal. So here she is carrying MODOK's form out. No problem for her with her super strength. Noon on the next day, the police are there to investigate this assault and the abduction of MODOK's body. Captain America is called in by local authorities because he was involved in the attack on MODOK, trying to stop it. He unfortunately did not stop it, and so now they're calling Cap in as kind of an assistant to the investigation, knowing that he has an interest in it. So here he is talking to the detective. Keep me posted if you learn anything new. And the detective says, you got it. So Cap leaves on his trusty motorcycle, thinking to himself, it's that confounded Serpent Society again. They weren't content to just kill MODOK. They had to steal his body, too. Twice now I've crossed their path, caught them in the midst of something illegal, and put them behind bars, only to find them on the loose a short time later. Cap has not yet figured out, and we'll see later in this issue that he does, that one of the fringe benefits of being in the Serpent Society is their leader, Sidewinder, an expert criminal businessman and possessor of a cloak that allows him to teleport Just basically, once the Serpent Society is arrested, he teleports into wherever they're being held and spirits them away. So they are effectively immune to prosecution and incarceration at this point. Powerful fringe benefit for the group. Meanwhile, at the regional headquarters of the cadre of criminal technologists who call themselves the Advanced Idea Mechanics. So here we have our Serpent Society recovery team. They've brought MODOK's body back. You can see him on this cool hovering platform. And the AIM in their distinctive yellow uniforms with the bucket helmets and the caged face masks here. Gladly accepting the body. And they send, like a good corporation, to get payment, they send the Serpent Society to their accounting department, which is pretty awesome. And I love seeing this AIM secretary at the desk here, still in an AIM uniform, but clearly acting as a secretary or a receptionist. And who do we have also in the waiting room? Why, it's Alexander Gentry, the man who was once called the Porcupine, who's now seeking to get out of the supervillain life any way he can. And the way he wants to do it is by setting himself up, by selling his porcupine armor that he wears that gives him his powers. Enhanced strength and the ability to shoot high projectile, high velocity quills. And they can be quite deadly, but oftentimes he just summarily gets defeated. I'm Alexander Gentry, better known as the Porcupine. He recognizes Cobra and introduces himself. Meanwhile, he's a bit of a buffoonish character, so the other Serpent Society members are giving Cobra the business for hanging out with him or talking to him. And just to get rid of him, Cobra hands him one of the Serpent Society's business cards, and then with his super speed, spirits out. This was a long run by Grunwald. And for a good part of that long run, Paul Neary and Dennis Janke did the artwork. I'm not the hugest Paul Neary fan as a penciler. I like him better as an inker, especially when he's inking Alan Davis. But the work in this title was always, for lack of a better word, workmanlike. They did a good job, told a good story. The layout was always clear, and they always delivered exciting action scenes. The anatomy and the faces and things like that weren't always, in my mind, up to the highest standards, but it was still fun, and it got the job done. In this issue, too, you can see it suffers from the Marvel struggling with that flexographic printing process as well. So there's some pixelated colors and dots and things that show up in the printing that shouldn't really be there. So Cobra rejoins his comrades at their van. They're about to take off. They're razzing him some more. And we'll see where that goes in a moment. But I want to look at this ad for quickly. Cap's going to star in a Broadway show, and maybe you can star with him. So they were looking for a girl between 10 and 14 who can sing, dance, and act up a storm. You might be just the person Cap's looking for. Anyone out there, if you're watching, comment and let me know, did this musical Broadway show actually take place, and how was it? Love to know. Moving on, we see a rather disturbing scene here. Here is our Serpent Society leader, Sidewinder, and that is his patented teleportation cape that he's got on. He has prisoner Princess Python, erstwhile member of the Circus of Crime, and recent member of the new Serpent Society. She fled from the battle with MODOK because she was afraid. She's not really a frontline fighter. She's a snake charmer and a dancer. And her giant anaconda was not with her at the time, and so she just didn't feel like she could take part in the battle. So running away, fleeing an assignment is a punishable offense in the Serpent Society, and so Sidewinder is going to throw her out, but before that, he's going to torture her. And he's not a nice guy. Pretty tough here. He's giving her the shock treatment. Meanwhile, his butler butts in. Excuse me, sir. The task force you sent to AIM headquarters has returned. Thank you, Wilburn. Assemble everyone in the briefing room in 5 minutes. So the Avengers have Jarvis. The Serpent Society has Wilburn. So here we see most of the current membership in one room. They're all gathering. They've gotten their $100,000 payment from AIM and turned it in. We can see here in a motorized wheelchair, Bushmaster, one of the other members. MODOK literally blew his bionic arms off in the last in that climactic battle in 313 before they murdered him. So here, Sidewinder is addressing the crew. They're talking about what they're going to do. As soon as I get my share, I'm taking some time off and hunt down that Captain America creep to pay him back for trying to make a chump out of me. You want company? Cottonmouth says, because he wants revenge on Captain America too. Meanwhile, Sidewinder shows up. Take your places, people, and we can begin. Now then, I'd like to formally congratulate you all on the work in the MODOK affair. Special commendations and a small bonus go to Death Adder and Cottonmouth, who inflicted MODOK with the killing blows. And in the midst of the meeting, he gets an alarm. He teleports out to take it. I'll be right back. Probably his mother, Anaconda jokes. Cobra says, I hope it's another assignment. Minutes later, he teleports back in, and he is upset because he has received a call from none other than Alexander Gentry, the man Cobra gave the card to just get rid of him. And Cobra owns up to it and says, yeah, I gave him the business card. And of course, the Serpent Society has no interest in buying this man's armor. So, meanwhile, on the Lower East Side of New York, he hung up on me. Oh man, it's hopeless. So here we're going to have a quick and pretty cool reprise of Alexander Gentry's sort of tragicomic career as a supervillain as he's sitting here wondering what he's going to do. It's a nice sequence. I love these cool horizontal panels. There's 6 of them, and each one is a different period in Gentry's career as the Porcupine as he ruminates on what he's going to do next. Here he's developing his armor. Obviously an incredibly talented engineer. I'm not sure why he just didn't make money as a super talented engineer, but there it is. Here we have him in his original battle armor, initially fighting Ant-Man and the Wasp, all the way back in Tales to Astonish number 48, long time ago. Here he joins Count Nefarious' crew of supervillains, which included Plant Man, the Eel, and the Unicorn in his original costume. Here we see some cool floating heads as he wonders again or thinks back again on who he's battled over the years. Power Man, Cyclops of the X-Men, Iceman, Red Guardian when he fought the Defenders, Doctor Strange, Iron Man. And then here, his most recent defeat at the hands of Captain America and Nomad in Cap 285. I believe that was a Mike Zeck issue. At least it had a fantastic Mike Zeck cover. And that's when it really gets him thinking, well, if I can't sell it to the villains, maybe I can sell it to the heroes. So at this time, Captain America has established a 1-800 hotline. This is pre-internet, really. So it's sort of the early days of telecommunications, high telecommunications technology. So we're kind of pre-internet. And Cap has this hotline, and Gentry gets a hold of him through it. And he suits up, realizing he's going to investigate, what this supervillain wants from him. As he's leaving, his girlfriend, Bernie Rosenthal, comes in. Steve, you in here? Yes, I am, Bernie, though I was just about to leave. She is privy to his secret as being Captain America. I was really hoping we could talk a bit. Sorry, sport, can it wait till I get back? And it always does. And this is kind of the beginning of the end for their relationship. It's going to slowly unwind in the next 10 or 15 issues. And soon he's at Gentry's apartment. Once Gentry convinces him it's not really a trap, they get into it. And Captain America, we might be interested in taking it off your hands. At that, Gentry, crimes prevention is more effective than crime fighting after all. Look, it's still in great shape. I've only worn my new improved suit once when you beat me. Before we discuss how much you want for it, I'm really curious as to which criminal groups you tried selling it to. So here, Cap is using his investigative skills, which are a bit underrated. He's a pretty good detective. No Batman, but pretty good. Gentry mentions the Serpent Society as one of the groups, and Cap immediately lights up. He convinces Gentry to set up a trap for the Serpent Society by calling them and telling them that he has captured him. And he will ransom Captain America to the Serpent Society. Meanwhile, back at the Serpent Citadel, we have the Sidewinder is turning over the unconscious form of Princess Python to Anaconda, and she offers to off Anaconda for Sidewinder, but he says no. I think we can sell her back to the Circus of Crime. So, ever the businessman, Sidewinder is thinking with his wallet. And then Gentry calls. You again? I thought I told you. What? You have captured Captain America and don't have the nerve to finish him off? Give me your exact location and I'll have some of my men over in half an hour. So it's a classic superhero battle site, a partially constructed building. That is where they have decided to lay their trap for the Serpent Society in this great sequence here. Gentry's forced to wear the armor one last fateful time. Cap has Gentry chain him up, although in such a way that he can easily escape once the Serpents arrive. Less than a minute later, a strike team of Serpent Society members is there, and we have Rattler, Cottonmouth, Diamondback, who will become important in the issues moving forward, and Death Adder, another really visually stunning character, originally debuting in Marvel 2-in-1 with Anaconda, the Serpent Crown affair. What, you're here? Where's the Cobra? He was not assigned to this particular junket. I trust will do. I am Cottonmouth. This is Death Adder, the Rattler, and Diamondback. Pleased to meet you. There's Captain America, as I said. And Diamondback leans over to verify that it's him. Let me see. It's really him, all right. I'd recognize that cleft in his aftershave anywhere. Now what? So Diamondback is already developing the beginnings of a crush on Captain America. And that, of course, is going to play out further as the issues go on and the Serpent Society reoccurs as characters in these stories. And then they're just going to kill Captain America right there. And Gentry says, you're just going to kill him? That's right. That's why you called us here, isn't it? Yes, I just thought maybe you'd pay me something for this hot tip. Think again, Porky. So already he has no respect from these guys again. And Cottonmouth, in a rather disturbing sequence of panels, excellently done by Neary and Janke here, is going to literally bite Cap's head off. But Cap is ready for them, and he quite literally, with his super hard shield, breaks Cottonmouth's teeth. So he's in this pretty cool half-page panel here. He is bent over in agony, and Cap has escaped from his chains, and he has sprung into action. Diamondback had turned her back because she couldn't bear to watch, because she's developed this crush on Cap. Quickly here, more trouble with flexographic printing here, some breakups in the color here, and just they hadn't ironed the process out, and so it was rough months coming through this process with Marvel trying this new printing process. So Cap, being the ultimate super soldiers, engaging these superhumanly powerful foes, multiple foes at once, and doing a pretty remarkable job. Here he springs out of Death Adder's tail strike and does an amazing acrobatic swing over this girder and right back down into the fight, landing on Death Adder's tail. The way he's writhing in pain, you'd think he had nerve endings in this appendage. And then here we see Diamondback. Hey, where'd Porcupine go? I'm going to look for Porcupine. He was in on this, I bet. He had to be. So she's going to run off and find him. It's convenient for her to do that, and then she doesn't have to fight Cap. So, go, I can handle the Captain, Rattler says, perhaps a bit overconfidently. And in addition to superhuman strength and an armored suit, he has this tail which can shoot vibratory energy, and he uses it, but he catches Death Adder in the blast as well. Meanwhile, Diamondback's fatefully chasing Gentry through the construction site here. She hurls her diamond projectiles with an unerring accuracy. Great panel here. She actually hits Porcupine's armor, damages it, and this angers him, and he turns his back up, angry, and blasts some high velocity quills at her, and she leaps out of the way with her uncanny agility. Meanwhile, back at the fight, Cap's in the midst of fighting these serpents, and the injured Cottonmouth grabs a brick from the construction site and is going to smash Cap, but Cap's too canny a battler. He senses him and uses his shield to deflect it. Now all three of them are going to converge on him at once, and as they do, he ducks and they run into each other in their zeal to get at him. He slips out, grabs Rattler by the tail, and begins to spin him here. Great sequence here on this last panel by Neary and Genki, as he's building up greater and greater momentum with a pretty hefty Rattler. But Cap does possess a super soldier serum. He can lift press 800 pounds, so he can handle this kind of maneuver. Spinning him around faster and faster, he uses Rattler's body to knock these two unconscious and then hurls Rattler into the side of a girder, knocking him unconscious. So he's defeated the three of them. And now he's looking for Diamondback. Yes, the woman, Diamondback, I believe ran after Porcupine. Porcupine, Gentry, what happened? He's laying on the ground. Help me get off my helmet. My luck ran true to form, Cap. I lost again. This time I think it's for the last time. That woman Snake did this to you? No, that's what's so pathetic. I did this to myself. She damaged my armor a bit as we scuffled. Acid or something. As I tried to escape her, I tripped, fell on one of my own quills. And you can see he's impaled in the chest here. Don't move, Gentry. I'll get an ambulance, take you to a hospital. I don't really care anymore. I'm going to die as I lived, one big loser. You're not a loser, Gentry. You helped me gain an important victory today. You're a hero, as much as I am. I'm a lousy villain. I'm nothing. You're wrong, Alex. Every man is something. You are a very good opponent. I respected you. Now hold on to life, Alex. Hold. And then he passes away. This just beautifully illustrates the nobility, the inherent nobility of Captain America. And in Gentry's lowest moment, before he dies, he tries to instill him with some hope and some pride. And it is actually a really touching sequence and really nicely rendered by the art team. And Grunwald is just masterful in his writing of Captain America and Steve Rogers. He really has his finger on the pulse of who this character is. And it's a defining run that goes on for years. Through various artists. Okay, after the action, Cap confronts these three in a cell here. And he's waiting. He's wise to what's going on here, so he's just waiting. And they want him out of there because they know what's about to happen, but Cap isn't having it. So suddenly, teleporting in to get his members out of jail is Sidewinder, and Cap, who in the, leaps over the chair to get at him, and he teleports onto the other side of the bars. Really, Captain, did you honestly think you could prevent me from freeing my friends? I thought I'd give it a try, mister. Call me Sidewinder if you wish. I'd go home if I were you, Captain. Eventually you'll have to leave, and as soon as you do, I'll be back to free them. It's that simple. You have gained nothing. Not true, Sidewinder. I have flushed you out. I've seen what you look like. Maybe you will manage to free these men, but I promise I'm going to get you. So Cap makes that fateful promise, and now a bit of an epilogue here. It's been 3 days since the funeral, and the body of Alex Gentry rests in a grave reserved by the Avengers for those who have fallen in battle. But in Avengers Mansion, on the landing to the second floor, the Porcupine will live on. Battle armor of the Porcupine, honored foe of the Avengers. What a great way to honor Porcupine. Cap is indeed a man of honor, and he has put the armor of the Porcupine in a place of distinction. Funnily enough, in the famous Siege of the Avengers Mansion storyline by Roger Stern and John Buscema and Tom Palmer, when the Masters of Evil invade Avengers Mansion, they see this and think that the Avengers are displaying it as some kind of trophy to hold it over the villains. But in actuality, it was to honor Gentry. And one last thing before we finish the issue, great in the American Graffiti letters page, which was always really solid, because Mark Grunwald was very good. He and his assistant editors were very good with fan feedback. We see a Serpent Society business card right here. Serpent Society, protection, requisitions, assassinations. No job too big, satisfaction guaranteed. Call for a free estimate, 1-800-555-HISS. So there we have it. That was Captain America 315. Thanks for watching Scott Reads Comics. Like and subscribe, tell your friends, and take care.